Today we're going to talk about subject and predicate, or the two main parts of a sentence. By the end of the video, you should be able to define and identify what complete, simple, and compound subjects and predicates are. But first, a few definitions. The subject of a sentence is the person or thing that does the action. In most sentences, the subject appears early on in the sentence. For example, if I say that the puppy jumped into the car, the puppy is my subject. It's the animal doing the action. The predicate, on the other hand, is kind of the rest of the sentence. It's that second half, the part that explains what the subject is doing. When we discuss predicate, we're mostly talking about the verb, the main verb or predicate verb that explains what the puppy is doing. But the predicate can also include the object of the sentence, other phrases, other clauses, descriptive info, and any other words that are happening usually in that second half. If we go back to our original example sentence, the puppy jumped into the car, this is our predicate. However, you might get asked to describe what the simple subject or simple predicate are. First, the simple subject is the one word or few words that represents the subject. Just the name, just the subject pronoun, or whatever the main noun or topic of that sentence is. If we only want the simple subject, you can ignore any other articles, adjectives, describing words, or predicate pieces. We only want the bare bones. So in this case, if we had to pick the simple subject and narrow it down, technically the subject is just puppy. Or in this sentence, iPad, Wi-Fi, he. And in this sentence, we actually have two of them, two simple subjects, so we will list both, Star Wars and Star Trek. This same simple concept applies to predicates too. A simple predicate is just that one main verb of the sentence, or sometimes two words, especially if there's a helping verb happening. As a reminder, verbs could include your traditional action verbs, jumped, dancing, sing, broke, or anything where the subject is actually doing something, as opposed to being verbs, like is, am, are, was, were, be, being, been, and then you start to get into helping verbs. Have, has, had, could, should, would, can, will, may, might. So, in these cases, we mostly just have a one-word answer, but there could be more than one word working together to be the main verb, or that predicate verb. So here we go. Here, the word jumped is our smallest, most narrow predicate. It's our one predicate main verb. Was, is, hit, and are all predicate verb examples. Next, we can graduate to complete subjects and predicates. These are when we take the simple subject and also add other articles, adjectives, clauses, and phrases that were surrounding that original simple one. So here, the puppy are the two words that make up the complete subject. The simple subject was puppy, but technically the word the is also helping out to clarify which puppy. So they're going to work together to be that complete subject. Which iPad? A broken one. So here's my complete subject, all the words describing that subject together. The Wi-Fi. Now the word he is our simple subject, and there weren't any other helping words, so it's still just a one-word answer for a complete subject. And finally, Star Wars and Star Trek are our complete subject in this case. The same concept applies to predicates. Jumped onto the car. Was on the ground. Is strong here. hit his head and got a concussion are very different franchises. These second halves are the predicate, verb, plus the other prepositional phrases or adverbs or other words that we need to finish out the thought. Finally, we can graduate to compound subjects and predicates. This is not as hard as it sounds. It's just any time there's two subjects or two predicates within one sentence. If we go back to our previous examples, those first three were just simple or complete. They weren't compound, so we're going to ignore them for now. But if I say that one guy both hit his head and got a concussion, he did two things. Therefore, we have a compound predicate, two of them. One person doing two things in one sentence. Or another example is Star Wars and Star Trek. They are very different, and they are doing different things in this sentence. So we're going to talk about both of them, and they both get to be the subject. We're talking about both of them. So therefore it's a compound subject. Just in case you need a review, let's look at the difference between these three one last time. The simple is just the one word or very few words, the most pared down version. The complete is when all the words are used in the sentence and broken up into subject or predicate. And compound is just when we have more than one of each. For example, more than one subject working together, or more than one thing is happening. So we have more than one action being described. Jumped into the car and drove home. Thank you very much for watching. If you need to replay the video, please do that now to further understand the concept or just hear all of this again.